can. But hey, if you ever need someone to talk to, don't hesitate to come.
Thanks.
I'm so glad we found out that Amy is here at the hospital with Ethan.
Amy, we came as soon as we heard you were here. Can we get you anything? Something to eat, drink?
No, thanks. Not right now. Ethan should be finished with the doctor any minute.
Ethan's been so amazing through all of this. We even heard that he placed a tract with one of the nurses here.
That's my Ethan.
I just feel rotten for him, though. I thought you said his checkup went well.
Both of us have really been out of it these past few weeks. But we just thought it was the grief and the stress of it all. The doctor said that he noticed a little irregularity in one of Ethan's exams, though. So we ran another one to confirm it.
You mean?
The good news is we caught it early. But the doctor said that Ethan can expect a pretty steady decline in energy. We're just trying to figure out what his options are.
Man, I remember when Ethan was about to become a circuit overseer. This is just awful. This stuff usually happens to, people who spend all their rent money on booze and cigarettes and lottery tickets. And then the next thing you know, they're out on the street and can't recognize people. But you guys, it seemed like you always had everything together. Unless you were, hiding something. Just shows you how fragile life is, huh? There are no guarantees. We're just here today, gone tomorrow. Doesn't even matter how hard we try. Like this bug. Didn't even know he was alive. Makes you wonder what Jehovah really thinks of all the stuff we do.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for coming, Bill.
Hey, that's why we're here. To offer a little encouragement. I know this is a tough situation, but you'll make it through.
You know it's tough? Tell me, do you know how tough it is to walk into a morgue to identify your little girl? How tough it is to keep expecting to hear your father's comforting voice?
We're so sorry, Amy. Really, we didn't mean to.
Yeah, Amy, please, try to calm down.
Why should I? You talk about making it through. But what about now, Bill? Huh? What are you gonna tell me about right now? Oh, Ethan, what are we going to do? I know that Jehovah doesn't cause these calamities, but I thought we were doing everything right. But what good is it if all our dreams just go up in smoke in an instant?
Well, let's focus on what we do have. First of all, we have Jehovah, and that's everything.
I just hope I can count on that, Ethan. But I feel so guilty. I should never have sent Lena off to the store like that with Dad. She was only 12. She was such a happy girl. And I feel as if everyone else thinks it was my fault, too.
Who could possibly believe that any of this is your fault?
Ellie, I know, consider the source. But even Bill insinuates as much. He gets me so depressed. I really let him have it yesterday.
Come to think of it, Zane even implied that I was somehow at fault right before he fired me. But something's really wrong with all their reasoning.
What do you mean?
Remember what Jesus said here in Luke chapter 13? Look at verse 4.
Or those 18 upon whom the tower in Siloam fell, thereby killing them. Do you imagine that they were proved greater debtors than all other men inhabiting Jerusalem?
No, indeed, I tell you, Jesus answered in verse 5. Those people who died weren't being punished for their mistakes. Accidents happen. We've been through this before, Amy. You're an excellent mother.
We prayed for Jehovah to protect them, Ethan. Why didn't Jehovah answer us? I guess Bill's right. He said there are no guarantees.
Does Jehovah do bad things, Daddy?
No, of course not, Huey. Mommy and Daddy are just trying to understand some things, that's all. Sometimes things happen that are hard to figure out.
I know, but when you and Mommy do things without telling me why, is that bad?
No, not at all. Jehovah doesn't have to explain every detail of what happens in life. Besides, it would take us forever to figure some things out.
I can never understand forever anyway.
You have given birth to a wise child. But some things are clear, even now. I've been rereading the book of Job lately, and something that impresses me about his story is that while we may not be shielded from tragedy, if we are faithful like Job was, Jehovah won't forget us.
Jehovah never forgets.
Bill told you that there are no guarantees, but actually some things are guaranteed. Jehovah guarantees to safeguard us spiritually. Psalm 91 says, because you said, Jehovah is my refuge, no calamity will befall you. But is that a promise that a servant of God will never suffer any physical harm?
No, I realize that. Many faithful ones have had to suffer.
Right, but Jehovah's promise isn't meaningless. The protection is real. Jehovah did protect Lena and Grandpa spiritually. He safeguarded their relationship with him. They were serving him faithfully right up to the time of their death. Their future life prospects are secure in his loving hands.
Oh, I'm keeping Lena and Daddy with me in my heart.
I am too, and so is Jehovah. Moreover, he can do something about it. He will. He yearns to.
For the work of his hands, he will have a yearning.
He will call, and they will answer.
Exactly. There are so many rich lessons in the book of Job. But Jehovah's questions at the end are what I love the best. I think it will help us a lot in the next few weeks if we really study those chapters. Huey, can you draw some pictures tomorrow of a zebra and an ostrich? Jehovah is going to teach us some important lessons by means of those animals.
That'll be cool, Dad.
And so, although Jehovah didn't talk to us out of the storm, he did talk to us through the pages of his inspired word. Really, Joe, we owe a lot to you for the example of endurance that you set for us.
Let the name of Jehovah continue to be blessed.
He it is who gave all of us the strength to endure.
We really felt his sustaining power, and we received so much encouragement through Jehovah's organization, and we saw his answers to our specific prayers.
We feel that our endurance through that ordeal prepared us to make it through the events that happened during the Great Tribulation.
Jehovah continues to satisfy us with good days. How insignificant our endurance seems now in comparison with Jehovah's reward. Look, here come the girls.
Mom always told us about your legendary beauty, Karen Happy.
I need not be considered Lena. Wait till you meet my 5 sisters. There they are again, coming along from Noah's Forest with Huey, your grandfather Bob, and my 14 brothers.
Of course, problems like ours didn't befall everyone in the Brotherhood in the last days, but we were determined not to allow our situation to scare others. We knew that they were watching with interest, just as we were watching and learning from your example, Joe. We saw it as an opportunity to demonstrate the depth of our love for Jehovah and our appreciation for his way of ruling. Indeed, although we had so much to learn, by showing ourselves attentive to the wonderful works of God, we were convinced that Jehovah is able to do